All right, E3 is coming to an end, but we had to make time for Sheltered. I'm here with Dean, who is a co-developer on it, one of two guys. And Dean, let me hear, what is Sheltered?
Okay, so Sheltered is a post-apocalyptic game where you have to look after your family in a bunker, an underground bunker. They've the family finds the bunker and they're trying to escape the wasteland and to make a new home for themselves away from the hostile environment.
Yeah, how did you come up with this idea? What's the inspiration?
Well, it started as a Ludum Dare project, a game jam that me and Sonny entered, and we were a lot of inspiration came from a Twilight Zone episode, where which it sounds a bit odd for a game, but it was about a family that were having like a party with their friends in the neighborhood, and then suddenly the air raid sirens go off, and they get into their bunker, and then none of their neighbors have a bunker, and they try to break in, and it all just deteriorates into like a primal thing, and it ends up being a false alarm and they have to go back to their normal lives, and that was the main inspiration for the game originally. In terms of games, FTL was quite a big inspiration for the game. Sonny had inspiration from stuff like Oregon Trail, but yeah, those were the main inspirations.
And the way you do story here is it's not in a focus, it's like you'll sort of let players do their own story and then very focused on gameplay, right?
Yeah, exactly. We didn't want to railroad anyone. We didn't want to say like this is what's happened. Like we wanted them to be able to come into the game and just put their own narrative to it in their mind and just play the game and feel like it's their world that they're in.
And what are the mechanics in the game?
Well, the main mechanics are that you have to keep the shelter going, you have to fix up the systems, the main systems like the oxygen filter, the water filter and the generator. They will break down on a regular basis, you have to keep them going. All of the systems that you build to help the dwellers continue their life, like showers and toilets, you have to keep them repaired and keep them going. You have to scavenge for petrol for the generator, for food, for water, and just survival really is the main focus of the game.
And not just water and food, but also how your character's doing mentally, right?
Exactly, yeah. They can mentally break down if they're forced to do things that would affect them that way. If they're forced to fight and kill people, that will affect them mentally. If they become too stressed, they can break down that way. If one of the other family members die, they can become traumatized also.
And it doesn't all take place in the shelter. You have the opportunity to go into quests as well.
Yes, exactly. So you can send them out into the world to explore, and they can come across other characters in the world that will give them quests, or they might be just hostile and they might try and attack you. You have to defend yourself. They could be traders. You might try and recruit them into your shelter to bring them into the fold to help them protect your family.
And I also saw there was some crafting in there. How does that work?
Yeah, well, the crafting is a system where you get all of the resources you gather, you can then turn them into usable items for the shelter, like showers, toilets, snare traps to capture animals on the surface that will then provide you food. You're going to be able to build like a plant station so you can grow your own food and become a little bit more self-sufficient and not have to rely on going out of the shelter. We'd like the player to feel like there's multiple strategies to the game. You could recruit people to then if they die, you can harvest them for food, which is quite a dark thing. But during this type of situation, if you've got no food, and you want to survive longer, then you may have to go down that route.
So there was a camper van on top of the ground. Is that sort of the end goal, or what is the mission for the player?
There is no end goal. We've gone with a traditional gaming high score type of game where you have to survive for as long as possible and try to reach as the highest number of days survived that you can. The camper van, as you mentioned, is like a big goal in the game. It's going to take a while to probably get it up and running, but once you've got it up and running, it's going to make your life a lot easier, be able to explore a lot faster, bring a lot more stuff back with you.
So the high scores, that's something you can compare with your friends and that sort of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Along with there's a journal system to the game, which as you play through will be filled up with events that have happened during your playthrough. So once you end your playthrough, once your family dies, you'll be able to look back through that journal and read through it and sort of visualize how it all went.
All right, but when I finish the game and get my high score, you have a very good reason for me to play it again. How does that work?
Well, when you play the game, for your first few playthroughs, you're probably not going to survive for very long. You need to learn your strategies, know what you did wrong, come back again. But to keep the player coming back, the game it's always quite random, and the map that you can explore, the overworld, is always randomly generated, so you never can learn the map and know exactly where everything is. We wanted the player to feel like they can have a new experience every time, and also it allows, I suppose, us as the developers, once we're finished with the game, to play the game ourselves and enjoy it as well without having to know exactly what's going to happen. We like to be able to be surprised by our own game whilst playing it.
You also had quite a lot of options for different character creations, right?
Yes, there's going to be a lot of customization, types of clothing, types of hair. When you set up your family, you can have any mix of genders you wish amongst the adults and the children. So you can have 2 dads, 2 mums, a son and a daughter, or just 2 daughters, 2 sons, any mix you wish.
All right, and what platforms are you coming out, and what's the roadmap ahead with release date and all that?
Well, we're actually quite lucky. We're going to be on the Xbox preview program. We're going to be the only non-AAA title on there, and we'll be out later this year on that, along with Steam Early Access. We decided to go into Early Access to help us just smooth out the game. We've done a lot of the development without having to need to go into Early Access, and we just need to go that last push from the community to help us just make sure that the game is fair and not too out of whack.
All right, thanks for your time.
No worries, thanks a lot. Cheers, thank you.